Regardless of what I'd just done, I didn't have time to think about that right now. The crackling of my attacker's footsteps was only growing louder, and it was coming straight from... There he was. I smiled. With a sharp intake of breath, I pulled myself away from the animal's mind and stood straight up from the brush. Tipping back my head, I called out to my attacker. "Nice try, Rourke, but I know it's you." A shadow blurred in the corner of my eye as Rourke shifted through the brush a good 50 yards away from where I'd been hiding. He was still just a distant blob of shadows in this heavy darkness, but I knew it was him. Somehow, I'd been able to see through the rabbit's eyes. As he strode closer, he gave a whistle to signal to the others that the test was done. Soon, they would join us, and we'd try again. This week's focus was on my senses, which were improving day by day. That was what my life had been these past few weeks. Test after test after test. Training session after training session. Out here, in the forest, for as long as we could. And we'd keep going until I'd mastered all my powers. As Rourke strode closer, I could finally read the expression on his face, one that was full of incredulity and surprise. Rourke didn't normally get caught off guard, and it made a small bud of satisfaction sprout in my gut. I shot him a grin when he reached me. He crossed his arms over his chest and shook his head.
"I have to admit, I'm impressed. I've had my powers for decades, but I can't scent someone that far away."
I pursed my lips. Should I tell him? Keeping secrets from my instructors, my future mates, was never a good idea, but technically, I'd broken the rules. This training session was focused on my sense of smell. I'd been supposed to identify my attacker by scent, and there was a part of me, the mischievous spring side, that wanted to have a little fun with this whole thing. Besides, he had shot an arrow at me. With raised brows, I leaned against the nearest tree trunk, feeling the rough bark on my bare arm. "Did you really have to shoot at me? What if you'd actually hit the mark?"
"Adrenaline enhances your senses, so yes, it was the best way to get you primed to scent me. And it worked, didn't it?"
Rourke's stoic expression softened, just a bit.
"Besides, you don't really believe I would have hit you, do you? I was aiming at the tree, Nora, not you."
"You're right. It did work. Does this mean you'll let me have the rest of the night off?" I asked, my lips lifting into a slight smile. "I wouldn't mind spending the evening back in my room. And you could always join me, of course." A furious blush filled my cheeks. Even though we'd spent the night together, I still went red every time I thought of the two of us between the sheets. Mostly because it hadn't happened again, and I was desperate to feel his hands on me. Sometimes, when we were training, I couldn't think about anything else. He raised an eyebrow.
"As tempting as that is, have you already forgotten what Alwyn said?"
My smile dropped away. No, of course not. Alwyn Adair, the head instructor of Otherworld Academy, had made a deal with me and my 4 instructors after the events that had taken place with Queen Viola and the Autumn Court. She'd finally conceded that we were in a pretty unique situation. As the daughter of Marin, it was only natural for me to desire the affection of more than one mate. Otherworld Academy had never had to deal with a greater fae before, and the rules and the magic that surrounded the place were meant for normal changelings. One changeling, one instructor mate, each somehow brought together at the academy by a fate-like magic I didn't quite understand. So, of course, my unexpected arrival in the academy had thrown a wrench into the normal order of things. But after a lot of resistance, Alwyn had decided to make some concessions. She'd brought in new instructors for Sophia and Lila, and my 4 instructors now worked with me and me alone. To train me, to build up my knowledge of the realm and all its history, and to prepare me for anything that might be thrown my way, now that the entire realm knew that Marin had a daughter, one who was very much alive. In exchange, we had to behave ourselves, just like all the other changelings and instructors that called the academy home. That meant no funny business on academy grounds. It was a rule I'd hated before, and it was a rule I hated now. I stepped a little closer to Rourke, breathing in the deep, dark scent of him. The rule only applies to academy grounds, so we could always go somewhere else. Movement in the corner of my eye caught my attention. Kale, Liam, and Finn.